many of you own or know a person who has a gun?
I know people.
You know people? Okay. How many of those people do you know that have gone through a gun safety course before purchasing that gun?
I can't give you a number, but some have.
Somehow. Okay. In order to protect our community, there needs to be stricter laws governing who possesses firearms. We need to be able to protect our homes and ourselves at all times, and although the Second Amendment allows us the right to bear arms, it doesn't preclude these guns from ending in the wrong hands. Coming from a family with over 105 years of law enforcement experience and majoring in criminal justice, I feel there is a need for greater gun control laws. In order to control who possesses a firearm, our government needs to have stricter guidelines on laws that allow people to obtain them. In the Constitution or in our state and local government laws, there is nothing mandating that you need to take a gun safety course prior to ownership of a firearm or have a mental evaluation. The problem that we are experiencing today are that guns are ending up in the wrong hands of the wrong people, and there are no laws and accountability being factored into this issue. Due to the lack of gun control, we have seen a higher percentage in mass shootings, increasing crime rate by juveniles, and deaths from a firearm. According to Gun Violence Archive 2018, in 2018, 13,592 people were killed by a firearm this year. Based on that number alone, there is obviously a huge problem that needs to be addressed. Gun violence has gotten out of control, and if we don't do something about it now, it will only get worse. This has become a nationwide issue where if we don't take a stance on the problem now and implement better gun control laws, we will only see the number of deaths from a firearm increase in our country. According to OpenSecrets.org, as of 2018, Congress has taken little to no action on enforcing gun control in the United States. Gun violence has risen substantially as each year approaches, and mass shootings have become a thing of the future. We have not only experienced shooting at schools, but at concerts, churches, and in our workplace, i.e. the Sandy Hook grade school shooting, the Columbine High School shooting, Las Vegas concert, Parkland, Florida, and Santa Fe, Texas, and at houses of worship in Pittsburgh and Charleston, South Carolina. Nowadays, as a country, we are living in fear and cannot live a normal life due to the outbreak of shootings. Adam Langford, a criminology professor from the University of Alabama, wrote a study on mass shooters and firearms, spanning over 171 countries. While studying, he took into account the facts of mental health, firearm ownership rates, homicide and suicide rates, to explain why certain countries are more susceptible to mass shootings than others. The study concluded that the United States and other nations where high firearm ownership rates are more susceptible to mass shootings, and that America alone has deadly role models. He also stated that other gunmen have left proof that shows they were influenced by other mass shooters, and 30 of them quoted the Columbine shooting that took place in 1999 as an inspiration, said Sylvia, 2017. This just goes to show that the end of gun violence isn't as close as we thought it was, and that we need to take a plan of action now for the safety of our families and our community before it's too late. Not just one specific person is affected by this, and by the lack of gun control, it affects men, women, and children of all ages. Here's a list of the deadliest single-day mass shootings in U.S. history from 2007 to 2017. According to CNN News 2018, on April 16, 2007, a gunman went on a mass killing spree on Virginia Tech campus, killing 32 students and faculty members. Then, on December 14, 2012, another gunman opened fire on 20 children ages 6 through 7 and on 8 adults at the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. A recent mass shooting took place on October 1st, 2017 at a country music festival, killing 58 adults and leaving 500 injured in a crowd of 22,000 people. These are just a few of the deadliest mass killings in the United States that have occurred with some type of firearm. Gun violence has been an issue for many decades, but it has become more prevalent as the years go on. We need to be more proactive with our laws and judgment-making skills in order to help prevent these violent shootings. The federal government needs to implement stricter guidelines, laws, and background checks to people who purchase and distribute firearms. Creating new policies and laws for purchasing firearms, comprehensive background checks, and mental evaluations should be put into effect in order to help regulate the purchase of a firearm. Putting these regulations into effect won't completely prevent gun violence, but it will help. In order to help gun control, people will have to go to their elected officials to the state for their concerns regarding this problem. The plan of action would be to take these concerns to our government and state officials. The first step you would take would be to write a letter to your congressman or senator to address these issues. Then another step would be to set up an appointment to meet with your local and state officials to voice your opinion or concerns. If all else fails, meet with groups of people in your community to start a petition that you can send to your local government. Lastly, when voting occurs, make sure that the elected officials you are voting into office have the same opinions and concerns. The most important thing we can do is follow the plan of action steps accordingly to prohibit high-risk individuals from purchasing firearms. Subsequently, taking these actions, you would prevent the guns from ending up in the hands of the wrong people. Not taking any action will lead to mass shootings and death from the lack of gun control. In order for any of these policies and laws to be put into place, it is going to take the voice of the people who live in this country to take a stance and demand change.